Hi, my name is Mordecai, and welcome to another video after, I believe this time, it's 8 months. But that is not the point for today's video. The point of today's video is for me to go ahead and show you guys some new art pieces that I have gathered for you today. But before we get to the speed draw, I think it's only appropriate that I show you guys the original sketches. Now, seeing as how he was the first vampire that I made, he is going to be the one with the most drawings at the moment. For some quick context, I was invited into this whole story vampire thing by a good buddy of mine, it involves so many amazing artists that I want to burn my sketchbooks with how jealous I am of all of them. Unfortunately, in terms of original sketches, Mateo has the most, whereas Blair and Nome, who you will meet soon, only have 2 pages worth of art, along with very small pieces of digital art. And now with the sketchbook out of the way, we can finally move on to the very first speed draw. I think it's only appropriate that we start off with the one who started it all, Mateo. Now, to begin, Mateo is a matador. He's also considered a torero. Oh my god, I can't pronounce it!
Torero.
Yeah, that. Now, he was pretty renowned within his profession. He was the guy. Ladies loved him, he was popular, he had so many friends, but he was also a big softie. And, you know, whilst he was a huge lady man, God, whilst he was a ladies man, he only had love for one woman. And that love went to the woman he then married, named Luisa. Originally, they weren't going to be married, and they were supposed to they were engaged, but no, I wanted them to be married already. Why? Because let's add on to the trauma. Eventually, Luisa became pregnant with their son, who I recently named Agustin, and Mateo was just so excited to be a dad. That's honestly, after finding out that his wife was pregnant, that's all he wanted in the end. But while his wife was still pregnant, he continued to do what he did. He was still a matador. He would put his life at risk until one day it caught up with him. A friend of his, who one could associate as a manager, had offered him a job to fight against one of the most renowned bulls, notorious for killing and paralyzing other matadors in the past. Mateo knew the risks of going up against any bull, especially this one. The main concern was Mateo has a huge ego, and he thought he could take it. The bullfight starts. His wife is in the crowd. His mother is in the crowd. They are watching him. The crowd is cheering. Everything is going so well. Mateo takes his eyes off the bull for a moment, waves at the crowd, blows kisses at his wife and his mother. And it only took that moment of overconfidence for the bull to charge at him, impale him with its horn, and throw him off. And just when one would think it was over, the bull proceeded to charge once more and stomp at him. All the while, the crowd, his mother, his pregnant wife, is watching all of this go down. Eventually, Mateo is assumed dead. I haven't really figured out the logistics as to where we get from point A to point B, but after he dies, he gets turned into a vampire by a friend of mine's OC. Now, before Mateo was turned, he was a confident, charismatic, he was him. After he was turned, we have this running joke that he hit his head a little too hard. The bull got him a little too hard in the noggin, because now he's very he's dumb. He's dumb. And that's the only way to explain it. He's dumb. He's the kind of guy who stands outside of someone's window with a boombox in hand, trying to serenade them, poster boards writing they're sorry, all that kind of stuff. He's not the brightest guy. Granted, honestly, I don't think he ever was. I just think it accentuates it after he's a vampire. Now, here's the little filler though. He does, at some point, not long after turning, go back to see his wife and tries to console her, tell her, I'm alive! Only problem is that she is mortified of him. She calls him a monster, a demon, and the relationship just ends. He goes back to the coven that he joins, and he never sees his wife again. He is distraught. He loved his wife so much, and he never got to meet his child. But it's okay, because we canonize that he ended up turning his son So there's just like a really, really old man that lives in the coven that's supposed to be his son. That's canon now. It's an ongoing gag. Now that Mateo's out of the way, next up on the chopping block is my beautiful girl, Blair. Blair's concept was created literally within less than 30 minutes. Honestly, it was probably like 15 minutes. I was talking with a friend of mine about like wanting to make another vampire, and I was like, yo, what if like we did Salem witch trials? And my friend was like, yo, you should! And so Blair was born, essentially. The only problem with this portion of the video is that Blair and the next character that I will show you after Blair is, I don't really have much of a story for them. I literally created them during October, and we're in November now. It honestly hasn't even been that many like days or anything like that, so there's not much to talk about. The one thing that I do kind of have set in stone for Blair is what happened to her before she was turned. My poor girl was living in Salem, having the time of her life. No, she was a woman. I take that back. She was living the best life that she could during the time. She was an all-out pretty, like, happy person, but the one thing that I had to figure out when making her was, why was she burned at the stake? Now, the thing with the Salem witch trials is, honestly, you can pull anything out of a hat and be like, yep, that's totally a reason of why they would burn people during the witch trials. Now, originally, the reason she was going to be put to burn at the stake was because she was going to marry this man, and one of the ladies in the town, or the village, whatever, they were jealous of her. They're like, oh, but I want to marry this man. And so they spread a rumor saying that she was a witch and she got burned. However, the finalized reason as to why she was burned at the stake is so much dumber than what it initially was. Now, the reason that she was burned at the stake was because she has green eyes. Let that sink in. Like, it truly baffles me that eye color alone could get you accused of being a witch. And, like, after that, I started looking up some, like, funny reasons. Like, it can't get more ridiculous. It can! Like, there was this one woman who, granted, she was old. People were already suspecting her of being a witch. Because if you looked like the ideal witch, which is so messed up, first of all, you were already a suspect. You were old, you were a suspect. Granted, the fact that she was old wasn't even, like, I don't believe it was, like, a whole reason. It wasn't really a reason as to why she was suspected. The story is actually so long that I will not go into rambling or, like, the whole story. But the point is, they take her to trial. I think she goes to trial twice, or I don't remember. She goes to trial, and they're like, hey, are you a witch? She doesn't respond. Why? Because she's old. She can't hear them that well, and they're like, oh, witch! Alrighty, I gotta deviate from my tangent because Lord knows we are getting off topic. Anyways, after Blair is turned, she is horrified of people. The only person that she ever really communicates or engages with is the man that turned her. So she doesn't get out much. She ends up being placed in the kitchen. She's one of the cooks, and she likes it there. It's nice, it's peaceful, it's quiet. She loves it. Eventually, I do believe she starts to open up. She doesn't really, she's not very active in the community of the Coven, but that's because I haven't really had her try to engage with other members of the Coven. I'm sure eventually she'll begin to interact with other people's OCs and their vampires and whatnot, but for now, she remains to herself, and she likes it that way. Blair was actually the OC that I came up with after, one other vampire OC that I had created, but I ended up not implementing that one into the story because I wanted to keep her all to myself for another story, and I didn't want to share her. Okay, not in the fact that I didn't want to show people her design, just in the fact that I wanted her for my own story gains. But that's okay in the end, because since I scrapped the other one, I was able to create Blair, and I love Blair. And it's honestly criminal that I haven't developed her that much. Like, I don't really touch on her that much, which honestly is starting to make me a little sad. It's even more sad the fact that I think I've developed the next character more than I've developed Blair, and I think that's even more criminal. But now that it's been mentioned, it is time to introduce the final character, Anome! Yay! This makes me wonder. I don't even know if I've been pronouncing her name right this entire time, which is crazy because she's my character. But I'm not the one that came up with the name. A friend of mine came up with the name. Hold on.
Anime.
God damn it! Well, it doesn't matter. Her name's Anome now. I refuse to call her anything that is near the word anime. So, her name's Anome, spelled
Anime.
It, like, the pronunciation looks like it's anime, but there's an O. Anome? Anime. It's just anime. Anyways, Anome her concept was created, as mentioned earlier, around the same, like, literally the same day, like, same moment as Blair. I wanted to make a changeling. I told my friend, I was like, dude, okay. I had this idea before Blair, technically. Only the idea that I wanted to make a changeling. And when we were coming up with the idea for Blair, we were simultaneously coming up with the idea for Anome. Anome! I was telling her that I wanted someone weird. Someone so strange that she, like, the type of person who says the most absurd things, and everyone bats an eye. Everyone's like, huh? Oh, what? To the point we've canonized that she has a pet rat, and what she believes is that when her rat inevitably dies, because it's died several times, which you might be thinking, how? Now, here's the thing. She thinks that her rat, it's an albino rat, works like a hive mind. She has it set in her mind that, if the rat dies, that's okay. It's just one out of thousands, maybe millions of vessels. So she's like, all right, he'll be back by tomorrow. And her creator treats her rat like a kid's goldfish that he gets from a carnival. Rat dies, he's like, damn, gotta replace the rat. So he just gives her a new rat. She loves, like, her creator loves taxidermy. He has taxidermy. What does she do? Dresses them up, dolls them up for little tea parties, because she's cool like that. She's also got a clever business deal where if people don't want to attend public gatherings, like dinners and stuff like that at the coven, pay her. I don't know what the curse is going to be yet, but pay her and she will change into your form. She regularly changes into her master's form, into her creator's form, just so that way he can get out of stuff. But yeah, that's Anome. She's my sweet little bundle of joy and weirdness. And that's all I have for her. Because literally, I just finished her... Like, I finished her everything, literally, like, the other day. So, that's it for her for now. Anyways, that is all for the video. I truly hope anybody who watched this enjoyed the art that I have bestowed upon you guys. I hope you all enjoyed hearing about these characters as much as I enjoyed talking about them and creating them. And I will see you guys on the next video. And Lord knows when that is.